Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson Football Channel. It's a brand new year. I've been away for 3 days and I know that some people have gone into a bit of a panic because I've been away for 3 days, and there's normally a video at least once every single day, like give or take a couple of days. New Year's Eve, I took it off because I didn't want you guys to be on YouTube on New Year's Eve. That was my genuine reason. New Year's Day, I took that off because I was hungover. Straight up, not gonna lie about it. I watched the Brighton game with my head in my hands for the majority of the time. Not just because of the football, you get the idea, which is why now I'm drinking copious amounts of PG Tips Very Finest for probably about 3 weeks to get over it. And then yesterday, sadly I had a passing in my family, so I've come back home. Again, you guys will probably recognize this if you watch my videos at Christmas time. Yeah, I've just kind of been occupied with spending time with my family, caring for my family, and that kind of thing, really. So sorry to start this video on such a downer. I'm here and I want to get into making Chelsea videos again and making videos every day, because sometimes to deal with like hard moments, and it's not just what I just said that's been stressing me out recently. There's been like a load of other like pressures that I've been feeling recently to do with various different things. For me, one of the things that has really helped to combat some of the negativity in my life recently has been you lot, which I know it sounds a little bit cliche perhaps, but genuinely I couldn't be any more grateful for all of the love, support and just genuine togetherness that we've had on this channel for the last few months. It's been very, very nice to see generally, and it's also just been it's been a very big thing for me personally. So from me to you, Happy New Year. Big thank you, and this year is just going to be even better than last year, which was pretty mad. So I wanted to continue with the 6 Things We Learned series, even though the 1-1 draw against Brighton is one of those that most people just wanted to shove in the bottom drawer along with all of the other socks that you didn't want at Christmas. But we want to talk about it because we've done 6 Things We Learned for every single game this season. And I wanted to approach it, considering that I'm posting this video like 2 or 3 days late, I wanted to approach it from more of a progressive standpoint where we can pinpoint individual things. How can we fix it? Can we fix it right now? And what does it mean for Chelsea moving forward into the second half of the season? So the first box that we're going to address is one that we really needed to see a big performance from this man individually, because questions have been asked a lot about Kepa Arrizabalaga and his long-term future as Chelsea's #1 keeper. People are saying, like, is he good enough? Does he have that leadership ability at the back that a great goalkeeper needs to marshal his own back line? I've asked questions, but Kepa actually saved the game for Chelsea. We would have gone away from the South Coast with 0 points. And come the second half, Graham Potter sent out his Brighton team completely differently. They were attacking, they were creating opportunities, and Kepa made 2 match-winning saves for Chelsea. And unfortunately, it didn't end up being match-winning, because sometimes you just got to take off your hat and say they scored a goal which probably won't happen again for a long time because it was just perfect. The Brighton equaliser was an absolutely astonishing goal. Nothing any goalkeeper could do about it. Yes, we could say defensively the marking was awful for him to be left with that much space, but Chelsea, defending corners. I mean, do we really need to write a brand new essay about this one? I don't think so. Just get the old ones out and it's still the same thing. So we give Kepa a green box and I move into a red box, and I've said so many great things this season about Willian, but sadly, that was one of his worst games. Again, it's like polar opposites. One game he's this, next game he's that. And I want to not just scapegoat Willian. I don't think Willian had the best game, and I have put him in this box on his own. But a statement that came out from Kurt Zouma was about motivation that Chelsea have to play the big matches in comparison to motivation to play the matches, no disrespect to Brighton, but to play those kind of matches like Brighton away or Brighton at home, Bournemouth at home, whatever it may be. There's clearly a motivational issue within this Chelsea squad that isn't just this season. Maurizio Sarri came out in a very poignant interview last year saying that the players that he had at his disposal were a very difficult bunch of players to motivate. Kurt Zouma has come out and said similar words to the effect of that they might struggle to motivate for these kind of matches. For me, that is just completely unacceptable. And it's not just Zouma. Zouma, I thought, had a great game in the match against Brighton, and we might get on to talking about him later in this video potentially. Chelsea, just because we're not challenging for the Premier League title, does that really mean that we can only take seriously the big matches against the big teams? For me as a fan, that doesn't wash. I want to be putting in the same amount of effort. Yes, we've got a depleted squad. Yes, we've had a load of fixtures over the Christmas period, but so is everyone else, for goodness sake. It's not just Chelsea. Look at Liverpool, for goodness sake. Club World Cup, yeah, they got battered in the Carabao Cup, but they didn't even field a flipping fully professional team, from what I understand. That excuse doesn't fit with me whatsoever. I think that it doesn't matter what game it is in the Premier League, respect your opposition, understand that in this league now, we're not talking about a top 4. We're not even really talking about a top 6. There are teams that are coming up, money that's being spent, little projects that are happening at different clubs that were never really in this conversation of being the upper echelon, bigger clubs in the Premier League. There are many clubs now competing for these top 4 places. The money that is at stake it's worth teams going for it and actually pumping money into the club to build bigger businesses for the future. I know we don't like talking about football as a business, but you've got to look at the likes of Wolves, Leicester. They're spending money, they're investing in a project in order to try and get themselves to this so-called promised land that's always been the top 4. Chelsea have got to be very, very careful that just because we're this big team that won 11 trophies in the previous decade, yeah, we've had a transfer ban. We can't blame anything on that anymore because right now we can sign players, and trust me, we will be going into transfer talk here on this YouTube channel. I don't want to hear any of this, oh, we might be struggle to motivate again. No, I don't care. Every single game, you go out there and you leave nothing left on the pitch, whether you're tired or not. There can't be mental blocks just because we're not playing against Arsenal, just because we're not playing against Spurs, City, Liverpool, United. So I guess I kind of diverted away from Willian being in the box there. It kind of turned into something else. And if we're going to talk positives, which we really should, because this guy had another brilliant game, Reece James playing in the right back position. I thought he was absolutely superb in that game against Brighton. He won all of his tackles, won his aerial duels, he got forward, he looked an absolute menace, particularly in that first half, getting forward, putting in the low crosses, putting in the drifted crosses. Whatever it was, Reece James looked more than competent, more than confident with every single aspect of his game. There are still positional things defensively. You look at Trent Alexander-Arnold, who right now is probably one of the best right backs in the world. He's still got defensive frailties, and he's been playing at this level longer than Reece James has. And Reece James is already showing so many signs of such a strong, dominant, positive future for Chelsea as Chelsea's right back, and starting to enter the England conversation for Gareth Southgate as well. Reece James, won't dwell on it for too long, but yet again, another diamond in what was a little bit of a rough Chelsea performance. So box number 4, throughout the rest of this video, you've seen it's a green box, and I've changed it right now, before I even started talking. In my mind, I've changed it to a yellow box, and I've put both Rudiger and Zuma in this yellow box. The reason for that is, I think Chelsea were at their dogged defensive best for a very large sum of that game against Brighton. We conceded a relatively late goal, a late wonder goal, but other than that moment of brilliance from, I can't pronounce the guy from Brighton's name very well, so I'm just not even going to bother. Despite that one moment of brilliance, there were very few lapses in concentration defensively from both Rudiger and Kurt Zouma, and I thought they put in a really strong performance in the back 2 for Chelsea. However, without getting too carried away and deflecting away from what is a wider issue and a bigger problem that Chelsea have, the reason it's yellow and not green or red is because although they were very good on the day, it does not sugarcoat the fact that Chelsea still need to invest in a very, very top centre-back in order for us to progress as a team and a defensive unit. Who that player is going to be, I don't know who it is, whether we will even sign a world-class leader in defence this January transfer window is yet to be seen. It's a very tricky time to sign players. I will go into a lot more detail, and I've also made a video about why Kalidou Koulibaly would be the best signing for Chelsea. We kind of have that Van Dijk effect. I'll leave it as a card on the screen. I made it a few weeks ago, and quite frankly, that opinion still stays. If he's on the market and he's available for Chelsea, we've got to go in for him. Koulibaly would be that defender that could come in, partner with any one of Chelsea's centre-backs right now, even Christensen, and could really take our defence up from what is a decent level susceptible to mistakes to a very good level, which could enable us to start challenging right at the very top again. So box number 5, and I've not stuck any players in there, I've just wrote a little bit of text saying how Chelsea need to become far more clinical in the final third. Sometimes Tammy makes the wrong decision. You've got to come to expect that from a man of such a young age, and he will get better at the things that we've seen him be good at already. But in terms of final decision making, everyone in the final third for Chelsea right now is shooting at the wrong times or not shooting enough. And it is something that is so plainly obvious to see from every single one of our attacking players that we're not creating this free-flowing attacking football right now where opportunities are coming. You know, sometimes you just know that it's time to flip and shoot. Sometimes you just know an extra pass might be needed, or a little flick here or a little flick there. We see flashes of it, but it's nowhere near consistent enough or at the level of quality that Chelsea need to be able to go and kill games off. Because right now, we're having opportunities, we're having possession and doing nothing with it. And I don't know if it's finishing in training. I don't know if it is a little bit of team bonding that might need to happen still. Just straight up improvements in the personnel within the squad. There are lots of different ways of looking at it. Yet again, Chelsea go away against the team that we should be beating without 3 points, with only scoring 1 goal. And come the end of it, if we bring it back to box number 1, we needed our goalkeeper to make world-class saves to actually enable us to even go away with a point. And box number 6, and something that I have spoken about here on the channel a little bit, and I actually left it as like a big banging question in the comment section of a recent video, I've put N'Golo Kante back in this box. I don't think it was his best game again, and I do wonder if Real Madrid might be interested. I don't want to sell N'Golo Kante. I firmly believe that there is so much talent within that player that Chelsea would be crazy to offload him based off of a bad run of form, which quite frankly, considering his Premier League career, right now we're just seeing a bad little patch of form from N'Golo Kante. It's not something that I think we should be worried about in the larger scheme of things. We shouldn't be looking to go out and spend 100 million on a Kante replacement right now. That isn't necessary. The one thing I do think is necessary though, is with a player of Kante's ability, when he's actually won titles for teams, and he's had such a huge impact with his performance level on Leicester and Chelsea, to get the best out of N'Golo Kante, we need to play him in his best position, whether that is of the detriment of Jorginho's ability in front of the defence or Kovacic's class that we have seen evidently throughout this season. If Chelsea want to keep N'Golo Kante and try and get him back to the same level of form that we've seen from him ever since we've all known about his name, Chelsea need to start playing Kante in his favoured position. I think that is in front of the defence. I think, yes, we've seen progressions in his attacking game, but we're also seeing him lose the ball far more often than he's ever done in the past. We're seeing him miss tackles far more often than he's ever done in the past, and I do wonder if that is just... He probably knows what his best role is, but Kante's a player who he just wants to play football. He just wants to be there, and if the manager wants him to play in more of a progressive forward-thinking position, he's going to do it, but his natural tendencies to defend, win tackles, and get the ball back in front of the defenders is always going to creep in. And at the moment, I think a lot of the reason why Kante's performances may not have been up to the standard that we've come to love and expect from him over the years is a little bit of confusion in his own game. Kante playing back in front of that defence, maybe try Jorginho out somewhere slightly different, because at the moment we're not getting the best out of one of the best midfielders in the world. And I think when Chelsea are looking to spend loads of money on players moving forward to take this team from here up to here, if we're having to replace central midfielders as well, when quite clearly there's defensive issues such as left back, world-class centre back, striker, another winger, we're going to start looking at things and ending up missing the boat because we're not actually utilising what we've already got available to us. And we're talking about world class with N'Golo Kante. He really is that good. We need to be utilising him in his best role at any given time right now. So yeah, that has been 6 things we learned from Brighton 1, Chelsea 1. Tried to make it as progressive and forward thinking as possible. And again, obviously, I know you guys totally understand that I've not posted a video for 3 days. I don't really want 6 things we learned to ever go out any more than 24 hours after the full-time whistle in any given game. But this one is an anomaly, but I didn't want to miss it out just because things have happened and whatnot. But yeah, thank you guys for all of your support, all of your kind messages, condolences. It really does mean a lot to me. And I know that some people say, like, just don't make a video for a while. It's absolutely fine. But I really want to. And I feel like I really need to make my videos because it gives me some time to really focus on something that I love, something that I'm passionate about, which in times of struggle, which everyone goes through, and I'm not some sort of special case. I know everyone goes through hardships, hard times. Some may go through it on a daily basis. I've been very fortunate enough to not really suffer with anything mentally draining or stressful really in my life up until now. There's just a few things that have piled up on me, but making these videos and being in front of the camera for you guys to then carry on that chat and the conversations down below in the comments, like it's all been a huge boost to me, and I just want to, again, like I said at the start of the video, say a massive thank you to every single one of you for all of your support. Don't want to focus on numbers too much, but the channel's growing, which is amazing considering that pretty much all my content is focused on Chelsea. So yeah, we're building a community here, and I want that to carry on into 2020. I almost said 2019 there, it's definitely not that anymore. But yeah, there will be a brand new video out later on today where I'm going to discuss the one player that I think Chelsea must go for during this January transfer window, and it isn't Jadon Sancho or Kalidou Koulibaly, so who the bloody hell could it be? Stay tuned to the George Benson Football channel later on today to find out who it is. Subscribe if you're new, hit the bell notification so you don't miss a video, and we're back. 2020, big year for you and for me. I'll see you all later. And for Chelsea, goodbye.